Okay, so we're going to install a HydrosPlus pump and diverter kit. Received it on this 1025R 2011. Got it in August, as February. There's the kit there. All came with everything, including this little tap and die, which I thought was a nice touch. Thank you very much, by the way. And I'm stuck in my I received the kit a few months ago. Unfortunately, life got in the way, a few things, and it's now February in Canada, and I am stuck in my very small shed, so no judging, there's not a lot of room in here, so she just fits in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of step by step what I did to install it. I'm not going to do a real-time video like you may have seen online. I'm just going to go through exactly, when I get to something, and I will put this together as one compilation video. So first thing I did was took 3-point hitch off, as you can see, and the plate, the shroud that covers the PTO. Also started the tractor and raised the 3-point to give you, as you can see, this, because this is one of the tubes that you're going to take off here, so that would have been resting down there. Just gives you a little bit more room. So I'm going to pause right now and get to the taking off of the seat. Okay, we're back. So we're going to take the seat off, and if you look at other videos, I'll tell you that you have to take right here, there's a screw, Phillips head, and over there, take that out, this bolt here, and that bolt there. And that's just to remove this panel, this plastic panel. You can take that knob off, it's got a set screw. I'm going to try it without, as I've seen in other videos, just to move it, because what they didn't explain as to why you're taking this off is this bolt here and that bolt right there are a T6 or 6mm Torx hit, or no, sorry, not Torx, Allen key. So you just, if you look at it, you think, well, I can just take them out. The problem is that there's a nut on the bottom of them, and that'll just spin. It's not been drilled and tapped properly. They just put a nut on the other side. So of course it's probably going to be a bit of a finger scraper, knuckle banger, but I got to pull this panel back so that I can get a wrench or socket up underneath on the bottom, and then take that T6 and spin those off. And then once that's done, I'll show you the result. Okay, so I have it off. Took a little bit more than I thought. I did have to take that knob off. That's no big deal, just a turn and a half on that set screw, which is right there. Okay. And I also had to take the knob off for the height control for the deck. And basically, it's this knob here. You just pull straight up. It's got a keyway in it, and I'll show you which is the best way to, it'll only go on one way. You see I'm cheating with my power tools. Gotta love power tools. You're doing something like this alone. One thing that the other video had missed, he spoke about spacers. Spacer is this bolt here, which was the large one that was right here. Okay. You'll see that the hole is a little bit, it's a little hard to tell. It's a little bit oblong, and so that's what that spacer is there for. So try not to lose that when you pull it out. It's a little easier to see. Yeah, not really. Okay, so that is off. Now I'm going to attempt to take the back part off. Okay, so I cut away a little too quick because I forgot to take these bolts out in the rail, which is actually this right here. And you can see there's the T6 and then the nut that's on the end of it. So I just loosened it and then spun them off from below because the nut's underneath. Put them back together. And now what you have to do is you have to bring the seat forward and flip it up. Now you can see that these are exposed. This one and this one. Same thing, nut on the bottom. Pretty easy to get at. Right? You get a fair bit of space in there. I will take that off, and then what I'm going to do, like as suggested, I'll just bear hug it with the utilizing the seatbelt, pick it up and get it out of the way. So next shot, hopefully that'll be done. The bolts are out. Bolts are out. Right there and there. One thing that you have to do is to disconnect this the seat switch. It shouldn't be too tough. Just finger up on that little thing and pull it off. I've had mine off, so it might be a little easier than yours. Also, this is held on with one of those, I used to call them Christmas tree fasteners. It goes in, it's got little fins on it. They're hard as heck to get out. So, but this one, this particular one, has a tie strap on it. So I'm just going to cut the tie strap and I'll put it in there and do a reassembly. So here it is, seat removed. It's one heavy sucker, I will say. I almost want my tractor to lift it off. I don't know. As I mentioned, there's a line right here that we're going to take off, which comes around to here. And there's a selector down here that they mentioned about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tire off. I'm not going to show you that. If you can't take the tire off the tractor, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to jack it from mid-level as they suggested, and I'll be back. Okay, so tire is off, and unlike the other video, I do have this bar here. It has to do with the undermount. I'm not quite sure what it's for yet. I don't have anything for undermount, but it's in the way. There's the pump right there that you have to take off. There are your lines here, okay? But down in here, can't really see it, but in there, there's one, and there's one over here, and those are those T6 or 6mm Allen key type of bolts. I don't know why I use them, but anyways, it's just me. But you're thinking, what? Holy heck, what am I going to do with this big clunky bar? I think I've figured it out. Right here, there's a joint. I'm going to back that off and undo it. I think I'll just tie this up and see how it goes. Before I do all that, though, I'm going to loosen off these two lines here, and I'll do that. Okay, so I did do a little pre-work. As you'll see, I got these two off and that one off. Now, this is the hard part if you don't have a good wrench set. That top one was 13/16, that one was 7/8, and that one was 1 inch. So, you have to have a little bit bigger of a set to get at this. Now, one thing that you'll notice is right here, this bar. It's actually just your PTO selector switch, so you just move it back and forth to gain access. What I did do is I took that pin out, as you can see, at the end, and this just kind of goes up like that, and it stays in place. And now you can access the two T6s in there. I've already broke them. I've taken a couple of layers of skin off my knuckles. They broke. Now they're loose, and now we're just about ready to go. Okay, so we've got it off. We're taking the top one off. I got it in the vise. I just use my little rubber hammer and give it a little tap, 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 and come loose. Same with the top one here. I did have to grind off a socket, a 1-inch socket, to make it fit in there real nice, and get it seated. And like they said in the other video, you should give it a little tiny pound down, make sure it's right down in, because there's not a lot to bite on. As you can see, this one had a ridge in the socket. That's why I had to grind the end of it off, just so that it would have more bite. Okay, so flow divider is out, bagged it up just in case I need it for later. I need to go back to stock. Took this and turned it to 90 degrees, as you can see, in line. Now this is another wrench. It's 15/16, so you need a whole gaggle full of wrenches to do this job. Okay, so we've got the flow divider on. You'll notice that the 2 bolts in here are in. I'll pull this down. And one thing to note, I had one heck of a job putting in this other one. I didn't want to thread, and it was because there's Loctite in there, and the Loctite got bound up against the threads and wouldn't allow the bolt to start. So I had to take the whole thing off and get a little pick in there and pull all that other stuff in. So just as an FYI, so you'll see that I've reconnected the switch in the back here, that electrical plug. So you realize this isn't a great visual. Connected this hose here. That's the only other factory one. That one's got a plug in it. The top one's got a plug in it. And then we're going to get to mounting the pump on the back next tomorrow. Call it quits for tonight and get back at it tomorrow. Okay, so back at it, night number 2. We're going to take this pump off because part of the package was the 9.5 gallon per minute pump that came in the kit. Like I said, I switched gears from the flow diverter over to here so that we can line up our hoses and everything before I mount the extra piece to the frame. So that one, not the little ones below, that one and that one, the ones to take out. They are T6. I just dry fitted it on mine. There's a bit of overspray on them, so they're very, very, very tight. So make sure you get them in there good, because you'd hate to strip them off. That would be one hell of a bad day. And we're going to take this hose off here and replace that. Now, one thing with this line, to get it out, it's being deleted essentially. But in order to get it in, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there's not a lot of clearance there underneath the 3-point hitch raising bar, if you will. And essentially you have to wiggle it and get this turned just right so that it'll slide right through. So it does take a little finessing, but don't get frustrated and start gripping and ripping. So I'm going to take that off and I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so I goofed. The 2 little ones that were below the other ones in the last shot, those ones have to come off, plus there were 2 down below. So, you know, I've taken way more of this apart, I think, but, you know, thankfully this pump is probably not going to go back on again, hopefully. But what I did do before I took the ones that are hiding underneath down below, what I did do is before I backed them out, I gave this a little tap with a piece of wood and a rubber mallet just to free it a little bit after backing off this clamp, and it seemed to make it go a little bit better. It's quite obvious that they spray these after they're assembled, because as you can see there's a little bit of a sheen on some of that rubber that's all paint. So because I thought initially it was a metal line, but it's not, because of the paint. Anyways, so now I'm going to put the new one on. Just remember that you have to use this little guy here when it comes off the pump, the old pump. It goes back on the new pump. Just like that, and slides in and meshes in there. So another discovery, trying to get that the hose off that was connected down here. to the pump. Came in right there. She's quite a twisted, multiple twisted pipe. You still do have to kind of finesse it, but I'm thinking that this plate has to come off, because I can't quite get the angle based upon the way that it's bent. I'm kind of stuck, so I'm going to pop that off. Might make it easier. I'll let you know on the other side. Okay, so we got it out. It has to come out on that angle like that, okay? Because it hits up against that bolt. I found that out through trial and error. You'll see that I got a little character mark. You can't quite see it. Oh, sorry, it's on this end. So this is how it goes backwards. It has to go like that when it comes out. I had to give it a little tiny love tap on the other end, but it wasn't much. But you'll see. See my little character mark there, where I bashed her into that bolt. But it's still usable. But learn from my mistakes. Okay, the shiny new pump is on. You'll notice that there's a block off right here. So that tube that was going there is no longer. Push the supply down through here. And I put the plate back on for the seat. And we're just about ready to start dry fitting all of the new pipes, lines I should say, and get that new piece mounted, get it kind of right where we want it, so that we can drill and tap and put the frame, put it all together, and start her up and see if we've got any leaks. Okay, so we've got the pump installed, and sorry, I said block off and we aren't going to use it, and we are going to use it. It was kind of dumb for me to say. It's this that has to be installed in there, and I'm going to put that on, and it's got to be pointed essentially straight up, and I'm going to do that. This nice color will help with the adjustment, and once it's done, I will come back. Okay, so the new pump is on. Here, as you can see. The routing of this line took a little time to figure it out, but basically, really kind of hard to see down here. It goes right in a little hole there, and this, once again, it's hard to see, but it's a little plate that folds back. I had to just give it just a little nudge to get that nut in there through there, and there's the flow diverter. As you can see, I've got a punch in there. I'm going to give that a whack. Actually, I'm going to put a piece of tape down first, so I don't have to really whack it really hard. And I'm just going to put one bolt in. I think that's sufficient enough. The lines are really tough. We just want to keep it from slapping back and forth on the tractor. I think it's pretty well secured. So that'll be the next step. Okay, well, that's not a bolt. I have a tie wrap in there, and then I'll tighten that down a little bit more. It'll bind up against this, in through the hole. The tap broke. This is what happened. So, I don't have the same size tap. I don't have a long enough bolt to go through, because I can put a nut washer on the other end. I just want to get this tractor kind of going, and I will come back and put a bolt in it at a later date. I just want to check to make sure that there's no leaks and everything's good, and start putting her back together. So, another thing to note, these fittings I had to adjust a little bit here or there angled to get it to sit nice and firm. It's right up against the frame, and in fact, it's not really going anywhere. Right? So, if I don't get a bolt in it, I don't think it'll matter. Anyways, let's start up and see if no leaks in check. folks, so I tested this, and you recall in the last part of the video, put some cable ties, tie straps, whatever you want to call them, went through the hole there, and then a couple around. Unfortunately, with the vibrations and the jaggedness of the hole that I drilled, they didn't bust. So what I've done is I had to take this, remove this completely, undo all these, go back over, around, and adjust all of the feed tubes, pipes, and I one bolt all the way through with a nut and lock washers, and just kind of massaged it back into place. And now you can see that it's not going anywhere. So I think it's a job done, and it's a little late right now, and I'm not going to start my tractor, but I will check it in the morning to